Hey guys, welcome back to the Life-Stylist podcast. This is Corey, and I'm so thankful that you're here. I have a beautiful guest today who's actually a longtime friend of mine, Jeanette Van Leer, and we have not had a chance to talk for quite a while, so I'm excited for this episode. Welcome, Jeanette.
Well, thank you for having me, Corey. It's so fun to connect with you again. I've missed you.
I know, I miss you too. And you're in Texas?
Yes, I've been in Texas for 3.5 years now. Kind of a happy,
Wow.
sad thing.
That's a long time. I didn't realize it'd been that long.
Yeah, we moved in on Halloween in 2022.
Oh my gosh. I was thinking maybe a year and a half, 2 years. Time is flying.
Hmm.
We might get into that a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyways, well, I appreciate you being here. For those of you that are new, I'm glad you're here. I hope you'll love what we talk about today. My goal is to bring to you practitioners and advice on alternative health and healing so that you can look at all the different options that are out there for whatever it is that you're searching for. And so every other week, I have a new practitioner on that talks about what they do, how they help women, and not always just women, but most of our audience is women. And then every other week, I do a solo episode to just help you with some tips on what I work with human design and different parts of physical, emotional, and spiritual health. So, welcome back if you're not new. We're glad you're here as well. I want to tell you a little bit about Jeanette, and then I'm going to let Jeanette kind of tell you a little bit kind of on her own. But I'm going to read you a little short bio so you can know how awesome she is. Jeanette is a transformational coach and energy practitioner who helps women develop their spiritual gifts so they can recognize when fear, limiting beliefs, and their non self are sabotaging their life so they can learn how to intuitively let their higher self lead. Her work comes down to one simple truth. Every thought and feeling is rooted in either love or fear, and this awareness changes everything. Jeanette is also the creator of Transformation Code, a spiritually centered modality of energy work that helps coaches and energy workers quickly get to the root of what's really keeping themselves or their clients stuck. Not just the surface level stuff, but the deep limiting beliefs, trapped emotions, and old patterns that most people don't even realize are running their lives. Her goal is to help clients and students learn to let their higher self lead so they can live more inspired, abundant, and fulfilling life. She's the mother of five, grandmother of four, and loves to play games with her husband of 38 years while they eat dinner. That's fun. That's cute. I love it. Love, love it. So I want to tell, before I let you talk about you, I want to tell everybody why I love you so much and why I wanted you here because you helped me so much. And I don't know if I've ever told you the full story of this, but I met Janelle, maybe 20 years ago, long time ago, and I think you were just starting your business back
Hmm.
then,
Yeah.
right?
So it's probably about 15 years ago. It was in 2011.
Okay. So it's been a long time and it's been fun for me to watch your business evolve. And for what I've gotten out of it has been amazing. So for those of you that are not new, you've heard my story about when I had my health crisis and got really, really sick. And now the way that I work with clients is finding, okay, yes, you have this physical symptom, but what's it really coming from? And Jeanette was one of the first people that really helped me discover that. And I don't know if you remember the session you had with me, but she was doing, I don't know, I can't remember if you offered me a birthday session or what, but I know I did not pay for that session. And I know that I want you to know how much you changed my life.
Mm.
And so I tell people the story about this all the time. And so when I came to you, I knew what you did, but I didn't know it. I was new to all of the alternative energy medicine and all that kind of stuff. And I was desperate for help. And I'd gone to somebody that did Reiki via a massage. And I want to say maybe had gone to one other person. I can't remember. I have to think about that for a minute. But anyway, I came to you and I was sitting in your chair and I had massive asthma, like just couldn't stop. I coughed all the time. And I didn't know at the time, but I had a really heavy pressure on my chest. And do you remember that when you did whatever you did, that you said, "Did you feel that?" And I was like, "Yeah, some like a brick just lifted off of my chest." Do you remember that? No?
I that was too long ago
A
and
long
too many
time ago.
clients ago, but
Yeah.
I always love the stories when, something you do really made a difference. Oh, Corey, I cannot hear you. Mm-mm, mm-mm.
Okay, I'm gonna pause for just a
Now
sec.
I can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me now? I just said it's so noisy because they're mowing my lawn. I hope you can't hear that. And then I lost you. So we're
Mm.
back. You can hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Can you hear the lawnmower?
I can't.
Oh, good. Okay, so it's very loud over here. Okay, so I did not know what you were doing. I understood it. I didn't really know a lot about muscle testing but that weight, I remember feeling that come off and I remember you taught me so much about self-love. And I won't go into all of that, but you really helped me probably more than you realize. And I tell people that all the time because now I know that my body sense that my heart is hurting is that weight comes back. And that's when I know that I need to focus back on the self-love. The other thing Jeanette taught me is I took one of her courses on muscle testing, which has helped me personally more than I can tell you, but also helped my clients. So I love what you're doing, and I'm excited for you to tell us what you're doing, even on a deeper level. So, what prompted you to start what you do? Like, tell me about that.
Well, I think the word crisis gets a lot of people started on their path because I'm coming to realize that we have a not self and we have a higher self. And in order for us to really understand our higher self to the degree, we can in this lifetime, we get to live in our not self. We
Mm.
get to experience both of those polarities. And my not self as a young mom was very depressed, was very my way or the highway, was very, um, the depression just, it showed up as rage because um, I am a triple Virgo
Oh, wow.
astrologically, and that means triple perfectionism. So I came wired that I wanted to be perfect. And of course, one of the biggest things that I've learned is wholeness has nothing to do with perfection and just everything with loving yourself and being authentically who you are. But back in the day, I thought that I needed to be perfect and have this perfect family and of course, religion played a lot into that because you need to do all the things so that you can get back to the celestial kingdom and have your family forever and all of those things. And so it just kept me in a huge place of never enough.
Mm.
And then I had the perfect children that had ADHD and oppositionally defiance. And so instead of, having kids that made the teachers happy and they were the kids that nobody wanted in their class because they were the troublemakers and you know, the, just the kids that the teachers are like, oh, I just don't want the Venn kids in my class because they're so hard.
Oh.
And so, you take all of that and it's a train wreck for a happy family, a happy marriage, a happy life. And at the time that I found energy work, uh, I didn't know it, but the only reason my husband was staying married to me is because he didn't want to put our kids through what he went through when his parents got divorced.
Mm.
And, my oldest son was not doing great. And, well, none of my kids were doing great. They were just always in trouble. I don't want to tell their stuff. It's not for me to tell their stuff. But I was looking for answers. And I called my niece, who had been doing energy work and massage for like 20 years. She's actually 8 years older than I am.
Oh, wow.
Her mother's 26 years older than I am. My
Huh.
sister, my oldest sister, and she told me about a book about cranial sacral therapy, and I learned about that and found a place that taught cranial sacral therapy and massage and felt like I was supposed to go to school there. And I'd never had energy work done. And I thought, well, if I'm going to do this, I should experience it. And so I went to the massage school and had a session there. And what they found was the depression was 7 generations on my mom's side. It went 7 generations back on my mom's side. And I just remember I walked out of that session with so much emotion and I felt like myself. Like I had not felt like myself in so long. And there was this woman that my husband had taught karate for like 10 years and her son was in my karate class. So I like knew her, but not like bestie knew her.
Mhm.
And I just saw her and instead of like hi, I was in such a state, I just grabbed her and started sobbing on her shoulder. And she's
Wow.
really going, what the heck? But
Surprise.
it
Yeah.
was just, so much was coming out because I had just been so depressed for so long and that started my healing journey. And of course, when mom starts healing, then the marriage can start healing and the kids can, and things start progressing. And so and I was blessed that my husband wanted to work things out, and of course he had his own stuff it takes two. But
Hmm.
I'm happy to say 38 years in that we're good. We're happy and we're our kids are in a good place and I can see now how everything that happened was in divine order for me to do this work because I can't help people with depression. I can't help people with not enough. I can't help people that are struggling with their kids and struggling being a mom, unless you've lived it and fully get it and fully understand it. And just one day, my second son has been my biggest challenge.
Hmm.
He's the most oppositionally defiant, and I remember in his teenage years, he was in and out of jail, and just it was a big roller coaster ride. But I remember as I was learning about generational work deeper, and it hit me like this download came that in the pre-earth life that he contracted with me that he was going to come and break the chain of being accepted or rejected. Because in my family growing up, if you did everything right and was in alignment with everything that, my dad especially thought you should be doing, then you were accepted. But the minute you did anything outside the box, anything that didn't make him happy, you were rejected.
So
And
common.
so I believe that's that's how God was. And I did not know how to love. And so that's what I stepped into with my kids. So I got the perfect kids that rarely did anything that, made me, they were constantly getting in trouble and out of alignment. And this son in particular, I know he came here to teach me how to purely love
Hmm.
because it's easy to love kids that are doing everything you want him to do. But when they're from the time he was 2, if I wanted him to go right, he went left. And of course, my self-worth was based on having children that got good grades and made their teachers happy and did what I asked. And so I got to learn how to love because there is no such thing as unconditional love. You either have love or you have conditions. And
Hmm.
I was very stuck in the generational conditions from my dad's side of the family. And this son particularly, but I feel like all my kids, we came to break this chain of not understanding what love is because
Mm.
love is the greatest power on earth. It truly is.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
that
And
was that was a lot. So hope that was
it was
okay.
great. No, I loved it because I had no idea about some of the stuff that you said about with kids and the conditioning. Like I work so much as well with clients with conditioning because I was so conditioned. So triple Virgo, I'm not dealing with that. So that's a tough one right
There's good
there.
sides of that too, but yeah,
Oh, for sure. You're
I
super
definitely want to
organized.
come here and get over perfectionism for sure.
Yeah, but what's crazy is that I feel like for women, there's so many layers of perfectionism because when you're in a religion, regardless of the religion, there are rules, right? So
Mhm.
as women, we have this box of this, be nice, look nice, be perfect. We have that coming from our family, like you said, because that's what they were taught, right? So I've learned to not like really blame because they are just going with what they learned. And we, like you said, are
Exactly.
here to break the chain. And
Hmm.
so much, I'm curious to know because I'm seeing this so much, not only in my own family, but with clients and friends. I feel like so many chains are being old yucky familial traditions are being broken right now because
Hmm.
everyone's having uproar in their families. Are you seeing that?
Oh, across the board, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I just want people to know if you're struggling with family relationships, it's because we're evolving, right? We're here to like get out of all these old paradigms of you have to be perfect. You have to do this. You have to do this. You don't have to do anything. And the goal is to be authentic. You actually have one of your main things in your human design is authenticity, right? And what's interesting is I've watched you bloom into that right when you were supposed to with your six in your profile. Is that, it's the later age after you've gone through all this stuff. Then you're like, oh, okay, here I am. This is the true me, right? Do you feel that?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. That was really fun to learn about that because being 58, you're feeling like you're late, right? And that just said, nope, I'm right on time. I'm right on time where I'm supposed to be doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Most people think that you're in the highlight of your careers and in your career in your 30 and 40s, but sixes do it, in their 50s and even 60s.
Mhm.
And so it was fun to see that that's just beginning for me. And I'm really excited about that.
Yeah. Well, it's just back to the programming if there's a timeline for things, right? There's
Mhm.
really no timeline for anything. We're here to learn, we're here to grow, we're here to help other people. And we all have a lot of stuff to overcome because, to get from the who we came here. And when you brought up the agreements and I 100% believe in that. I believe everything, I believe this is all something we chose. We just forgot. We just forgot when we got here. Oh, wow, it's harder than I thought it was going to be, right? So, but I feel like the more I evolve and learn about myself, learn about truth in spirituality, all of that, I feel like it becomes more fun almost. Like things aren't as hard as they used to be because we have a different understanding. Do you feel that?
I do. I when you're not striving all the time to check boxes that you think you have to check. And, I realize there's not everybody gets into that, but when you just feel like there's these bars you have to meet in order to be okay once you pass on, it's a lot of pressure. And I just have seen so much, and even, with me that you you think you need to be somewhere or be someone that's actually pretty impossible to be. And so then you're never good enough, you're never doing enough, serving enough. Your your family's it just keeps you in that place of not enough. And we are here to experience abundance.
Hmm.
And when you either abundance is when you step into that, you are enough, you have enough, you can be enough, you can do enough. Versus scarcity is the opposite of that. And
Hmm.
it's interesting to me when I correlated that when you're in abundance, you're connected to love. And it's love, when you're connected to love, is what helps you know that you're enough, have enough, be enough, do enough. And scarcity is connected to fear. And
Hmm.
when you're in fear, you're fearful that you can never be enough, have enough, and do it. I mean, it's, the complete polar opposites.
Hmm. Yeah. So okay, so let me go back to your story. So you went and had the energy work done, you realized all these things, and then when did you just go, "Oh, I can help other people do this?" Like what like prompted that? Because I think for most of us, we're still, when we start something, we're stuck in that space of, oh, well, who am I to do that? So what gave you the courage to do that?
I've always been more of an outgoing person, an entrepreneurial person. I was already teaching exercise classes and some nutrition classes before that. And trying to, I always joke that exercise was my Prozac.
Yeah, for sure.
And you either, food is something that you can, eat to feel good for a minute, or you can eat to feel good for a lifetime.
Mhm.
Nothing tastes as good as feeling good feels is something that mantra that I
I love
have.
that.
And so I was already wanting to help women, wanting to impact. Of course, it's in my astrology, my human design of just who I am. And I find it interesting that I was 42 when I started on my path to energy work, which is right along with that six in human design.
Mhm.
So, um, yeah, it's just kind of fun to look at all of that.
Yeah. I love that you focus on love because I remember when I came to you, it's so interesting to me. Like when I was going through all my health stuff, I had what I call my board, and I didn't go to everybody all the time, but there were specific women that helped me in some level of my healing. And I remember you saying to me, when you're taking, it was something about when you're taking a shower or whenever you can, say to yourself, I am love, I deserve love, I give love, or something like that. And that impacted me so much that I bought little heart. I had a heart hanging on anything to remind myself to love myself because my issue was I hadn't forgiven myself for getting divorced. When you and I met, you said to me, you have like miles and miles of blocks around your heart. And I knew that. And a lot of that came from past child, like subconscious stuff I wasn't really aware was affecting me. But then lifetime issues had created more of that. And so I just kept on being like, nope, don't trust anyone. I'm just going to keep blocking my heart. And then when I got sick, then I was just in survival, like, oh, now I really can't trust anything. I'm really all alone. And so I got these little hearts that I put everywhere so that it were to remind me. I almost even got a tattoo on my finger because I'm like, I need to just remind myself all the time to love myself because it was just something I was so unfamiliar with because I was so stuck in the perfectionism. You're not good enough until you do this. You have to accomplish this. Your kids have everything you said about the kids thing and going into the religion. We are so conditioned that around perfection. And I remember going in and just being miserable and going in to speak with my people in my church who are the authorities and saying, I'm not happy. And they'd be like, well, you need to have family home evening more. You need to read the scriptures more. And so I would do it. And that wasn't fixing the problem. And the problem is that no one ever taught me how to take care of me and to love me. And so that lack of love for myself was affecting everybody and everything in my life. And so I love that that's what you teach people, right?
Well, I don't know if you probably weren't this way, but it hit me. So one day, life just really blew up, and I got down on my knees and I says, God, I'm so tired of feeling broken.
Mm,
Help me to know what wholeness really means. And I was actually led to a scripture that said, without charity, ye are nothing. And
mm,
I went, I'm so sick of feeling like nothing. I guess I better figure out what charity really is. And charity is pure love. It's,
mm,
pure love of Christ. And I went, wow, I guess I better figure out how to love. And, it went on to say to pray for this gift. And so I started praying, and I had this visualization come to me of whatever you're filled with is going to be come pouring out of you. And at this time also, a meme from by Mother Teresa came that says, when you're in judgment of others, there's no room to love them.
mm,
But I realized I was so judging myself all the time and so filled with judgment that I was full of it. If, and whatever's like a picture is filled with what is going to come pouring out of it. So judgment was constantly pouring out of me towards my husband, towards my children, and that was just creating a very unhappy home. And, obviously that was my own thing. I can't blame that. I mean, it was very generational. In fact, a really fast, funny story. I I was assigned to teach a woman in an assisted living center. And I love how life works because she grew up in Blanding, Utah, and went to the same ward as my dad and grandpa.
Wow.
And she told me that my grandpa would make sure he was the last one to speak in fast and testimony meeting, which is a meeting that we have once a month where everybody just gets up and has the opportunity to bear testimony. And his testimony always was telling everybody what they were doing wrong and what they needed to do to repent. I could tell she didn't like him very much.
Yeah.
And so that just tells you the judgment, generationally that again, I feel like I was sent here to break. And of course, you get to experience that and you can't break a chain of something that you don't first experience.
Hmm.
Another saying I love is your pain becomes your passion, your mess becomes your message, and your trials become your triumphs.
Oh, I
And
love that.
without the pain and the mess and the trials, we can't have the message and the triumphs um, and the passion.
Hmm.
It takes both sides.
Well, and that's why I just, when people are struggling, like when we come out of it, we can always see from the other end, oh, that actually was here to teach me and show me something. But when you're in the midst of it, and what I love is that when you really get that understanding, it's more about, okay, what is it trying to show me? It's what, even with human design, like a lot of stuff in your human design is about emotional stuff. A lot of it's about helping people see that and understand and to have, and there's a lot of self-love in your incarnation cross, which is what you're here to teach people. And so what's interesting is that it doesn't mean that things aren't hard anymore. Like hard stuff still happens. But when you can go, okay, what is this trying to show me that I came here to learn? It makes it easier to get through it faster sometimes. Like you can
Hmm.
just go, okay, boom, let's just get this let's get this done. Show me what I got to learn, right?
Right.
So, and I love that you brought the ancestral stuff up because I believe, and what I'm seeing a lot of is that's there's so much of that we're experiencing that we just are shaming ourselves around and it's not even our stuff. Like I've been doing a lot of ancestral work on my mother's side because there's a lot of abandonment and money issues in that, and it's most of the stuff that I've dealt with for a long time did not even it's not even my stuff. But understanding that, oh, if I heal that, you brought this up kind of earlier, is you're actually healing forwards and backwards. And as we heal, not only does it help the healing backwards, but it helps our kids to not have to go through some of the things that we went through because we just copy and pasted what we learned, right? Oh, I remember I have a child that's really struggled a lot as well. And I look back and I don't have regrets. I think that we get the kids we're supposed to have. I think we do the best we can, and we have an understanding from a soul level that there's a reason for everything, and we get the right kids, right parents, right? But I look back at when he was a little boy, and I'm like, knowing what I know now, he just needed me to like understand him from a different perspective. He just needed a little bit more love and understanding. But my conditioning was, nope, this is how it's done. And if you don't be good, and if you don't do it the way everybody else's do, then something's wrong with you and you're in trouble. Like literally, you're punished because you don't want to go to primary, right?
Hmm.
So that's mortifying to me now. I don't have guilt about it because I know I was doing the best I could at the time. But it's that understanding of how often are we on a daily, the things that we're doing on a daily basis, how often are those someone else's belief systems and programming that we're just doing out of habit?
Yeah.
So what's your experience with the church? Because you and I both grew, we're in LDS church. Are you still in the church or did you step away?
I have stepped away. I stepped
Okay.
away about a year and a half ago. It just It just felt not aligned anymore. There's great people in the church, but there's things that the church teaches that I just do not, they just feel insane to me now. And,
Mhm.
a big one is the temple, because the God that I now know and love, that loves all of his children, and you think about the amount of people that have temple recommends, and those are the only people that are going to be with him forever. And then,
Mhm.
your family is only going to be there if they have temple recommends. And what a sad place in my mind the celestial kingdom would be, because there's going to be so many people that aren't there. And then, as I've done energy work and I've met people all over the United States and Australia, and I've worked with people in Canada and England, and just really get to know their hearts, there are so many good people that are doing good things in the world. And I just can't believe, because they don't have a recommend, that, just that one thing is going to affect them on the other side, when their lives, it says in the scriptures, the Lord looks on their heart, and they have such good hearts. So
Yeah.
it just started not to compute to me anymore. And I know they say, well, somehow it'll all work out in the end. But to me, that just placates the whole thing, that just absolutely does not even make sense to me anymore.
Yeah, that makes sense. I believe we're here to have experiences to learn and to grow. And when you're limited inside of a box that tells you so many specifics, how do you learn and grow, right? So I kind of left for the same reason that you did. One day I was sitting in church and somebody said something and I just went, I don't think that's correct. And I just never went back. Like it just, it was I'm a very cut and dry. When I'm done, I'm done. And it was just, people are always like, oh, the church history. It wasn't for any of that. It was just, I just knew I was done one day. And I truly believe that people like you and I, there's a reason for that because when we sit with clients, we can see both sides of it. So we're not here to tell anyone what to do. If, I told you before we started recording, I get a lot of people who are just in a lot of turmoil because they've got one foot in and the programming is keeping them there, but they have one foot out because their spirit's like, oh, I don't know. And there's no right or wrong because it's such an individual decision, right? There's a lot of women that I'm in contact with that do what we do, but have stayed in the church. And I think that's amazing because there's women in the church that need to see that they can be who they are authentically and still be in religion. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Everybody's path is their own, and it doesn't have to look a certain way for anybody.
Yeah. And I think there's time and place for that, and some people need it, some don't. And I think from the perspective of helping others, when we can see this is what it's okay to question, this is what's good, still believe in God, higher power, whatever anyone listening believes in, how can you not? But that there's so much love there that it doesn't matter, it really doesn't matter what you do, you're loved, right? And then like you said with the judgment thing, oh my gosh, when you're judging yourself so much, it really does pour out of you. That was so genius how you said that because I look at people now who are extremely judgmental and I can see that that was me. I'm like, I was that way. I was trying so hard to be so perfect that anyone that didn't fit in that box, something was wrong with them as well.
Yeah, yeah. And you feel that from people. It's judgment is a very low vibrational emotion, and you can immediately, feel that vibration. And um, but I think that's it. That vibration is so low and yucky that when you're really willing to look at it, I think people are, like when I was really willing to look at it, that message from Mother Teresa came so quickly that when you're in judgment of others, there's no room to love them. Right after I received, um, unless you have charity, you are nothing. And I went, okay, well, I'm done feeling like nothing. and judgment is what's causing it.
Yeah.
And I love when you start asking the questions that your angels and guides, your heavenly team, that, that's one thing I want everybody to know is everybody has a heavenly team. And it's so fun because that's one thing you can use muscle testing for is ask how many guides do you have? How many angels do you have? And you get a certain amount of guides for your lifetime, but angels, sometimes it's two, sometimes it's hundreds, just depending on what's going on in your life. And we have so much support from the other side. And the more that we open up to that and we learn how to let those walls down of judgment and not enough, because one of another big lesson with love is you you cannot receive inspiration without feeling like love is the vibration of receiving inspiration and
Mm.
receiving guidance. And so all the years that I was in not enough, no wonder why it was tough to feel the spirit or, feel that. And, having the gifts, the more I learned about love and how to be love, and I'm not perfectly loving all the time. Obviously, we're not here to be perfect, but the more I learned about it and learned how to embody it, the more my gifts opened up, the more intuitive I
Mm.
became, the more life opened up. And that's really, I want people to know, Corey, that you can have a literal two-way conversation with God, not just pray and hope that He hears you or hope that He answers. You can ask God, today I sat down and said, God, I know that I have some money blocks. Help me see what the money blocks are and what the truth is. And I was able to be led to those words and get downloads into my mind to understand what my money blocks were. I was, through the transformation code that I teach, I was able to uncover deeper limiting beliefs than I'd uncovered previously. Because every time you up level your life, new limiting beliefs surface, right?
Yeah.
Because you're stepping into your potential. So your ego wants to protect you because we all want to be safe. And so there's always work to be done. We're never done
Yeah.
doing that personal development, but it's also a beautiful thing because that's how we keep growing and progressing and unbecoming who we're not so we can be who we were meant to be in the first place.
Yeah. I love that. That was very beautifully said. So going into I loved the transformation code because I did not know anything about muscle testing when I started that. So I know that you have, and we'll share in the show notes, you have a free muscle testing course that you
Mm-hmm.
offer. And
Yeah.
so what is that going to teach people? I mean, I'm sure it's very basic, but I think the basics are huge. Like for me, that's been life changing in literally everything that I do. Like I tell my clients, if you learn one thing in the world, learn muscle testing. And I don't teach
And
it, but it's like as soon as well, number two, tapping into your higher power also, right? But same,
don't
same.
you feel like it's helped you do that?
Yes. Because even you reminded me of the square in your workbook where you're like, how in touch am I with Christ? I can't remember because I haven't done it for a long time, but that was very helpful for me, right? But yeah, it's that connection that you talked about is so there if you make it. And that's the problem in today's world is most people are staying too busy trying to be the perfect person, trying to check all the boxes, trying to do all the societal conditioning of this is how you live the American dream, which is all BS. I mean, for some people it works, for some people it's not in us to work that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the real issue I see is that people don't understand that it's so available, and B, they don't take the time to get quiet enough to tap into it. And I think muscle testing is a really fast and easy way that if you are pressed for time, you can get answers quickly if you can stay connected. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So tell us about that a little bit.
absolutely. Well, I want to start out by saying God has given us a beautiful tool in our bodies called the vagus nerve. And it starts in the medulla oblongata in the back and runs down both sides of your body. It has nerve endings that go all through your heart and all through your gut. And it's common knowledge that scientists now are calling our gut our second brain and our heart even our third brain, and that there's more neurons in our gut and our heart than even in our brains. But also, it's our heart and our gut where we receive truth.
Mm.
You feel that fullness or that tingle or that, um, that zing, that bzz, tingle or
Mhm.
whatever. And it's my theory that our spirit uses our vagus nerve to communicate to us because our spirit has all of our information from this moment back through eternity. And that's what makes energy work so easy is because you just put a person's spirit in charge and ask their spirit, what is it this person needs today? And then we're all onions, and the spirit knows exactly how to peel that onion layer by layer. And so this course, first of all, teaches you the basics of muscle testing. And anybody can muscle test because the basic of muscle testing, I call it the happy, sad test. And, I just invite the audience to put their fingers like this and think of something that happy, like you cannot think about it without just lighting up your whole entire face. For me, that is my 4-year-old granddaughter. She is just in the cutest stage and just so sweet right now.
Mm.
I just think of her and I can't pull my fingers across or, let go, even if I tried.
That's
And
what I
then
thought about as my granddaughter. That was the same thing.
grandkids are the
They
best.
are the best. Okay.
But then, think of something sad. I can think of, the war in Iran right now, and I can't hold
Mhm.
my fingers together I just can't.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how you get connected. And then that's the basics. I just taught you how to muscle test. And then in my muscle testing course, it teaches you how to muscle test. You can find out what foods give you energy, what foods deplete your energy, what foods you're allergic to. Um, because for me, food plays a huge role in my mood and my energy level. If I eat the wrong foods, I'm grumpy, I'm tired, my body and spirit disconnect. Believe it or not, a lot of people are walking around with their body here and their spirit here. They're not fully connected because we're numbing out because we're just so stressed trying to do all the things. Sickness, depression, um, negative thoughts, illness, all of those things disconnect your body and spirit. And then if you've had traumatic events in your life where it's just not safe, I've literally had someone sitting in the chair in my office and their spirit was clear up in the corner.
Wow.
Had not been connected since they were little because they had been through so much trauma that their body was not safe to inhabit. I mean, that
Wow.
was an extreme thing. And so, kind of getting off topic here. So, anyway, the course takes a little over an hour to go through. It teaches you the basics of muscle testing. Then it teaches you how to muscle test to use it for your health and well-being. And then I give you this chart right out of my transformation code manual and my Go Deeper chart I don't have handy. And I teach you how to use that to find those trapped emotions that are causing you to feel heavy and disconnected. And I teach you how to release them and let them go. And you will find that once you do that, that you feel lighter and you feel more connected. And then if you want to go deeper with the transformation code, you find out the limiting beliefs that are creating the emotions because a lot of people are familiar with the tear cycle. You have your thoughts and then your emotions, or your thoughts create your emotions create your actions create the results that you're getting in your life. But what creates your thoughts? It's your beliefs, right?
Mhm.
And so if your beliefs are limiting, if your beliefs are not true, if they're coming from your ego mind, and by the way, did you know that this hit me a month ago? When we were spirits and souls before we had our earthly body, we didn't have an ego mind.
Oh,
Ego
yeah. No
mind
way.
is completely an earthly thing, and there's purposes for it. We
Mm-hmm.
also need to be aware of when it's running the show.
Yeah.
And so if limiting beliefs are creating our thoughts, those beliefs create heavy emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Those emotions are driven by fear. You will not feel a negative emotion without some sort of fear driving it. And then that causes you to either overreact or procrastinate or avoid. All those things, sabotage, all of those things that create results that aren't happy, they aren't what we want. And then that creates more negative thoughts and anchors in those limiting beliefs, and it
Mm-hmm.
just creates this cycle. But when you can break that cycle by finding the trapped emotions, finding the limiting beliefs that got got anchored in either generationally or at a certain age or just happened from how life is lifing currently, and then the beliefs that are or the so the thoughts and the beliefs that are creating those, and you can get them realigned with truth, universal truth, then that changes your thoughts, your emotions, and empowers you. And then your actions will be inspired. And when you're
Mm-hmm.
taking inspired action, you're going to get the results that you want. Life
Yeah.
still will be messy. Life's always, we're always going to be in the messy middle of something. But the huge key is the questions you ask. When we ask whiny questions, back when I was depressed, it was, why can't my husband love me more? Why can't he help me more? Why are my kids so hard? Why can't, this person treat me better? Or why? I call them why whiny questions, right?
Yeah.
But then one day when I said, Heavenly Father, I'm so tired of feeling broken, how? And when we ask how questions or what questions, like what's creating this in my life, that puts us in our power because we're going along this negative track and we're going to keep going along. It's the law of relativity until someone hits us back. And when you can ask a powerful question, you're going to get a powerful answer.
Mm-hmm.
And just a powerful question you can always ask yourself when that ego mind is running crazy is what would my higher self tell me right now? What would if I loved myself, what would love tell me right now?
I love that.
And those are powerful questions that can help you shift, get realigned with truth, get that train going back the other way, and help you get more in your power because we're either living from inspiration or desperation. We're
Mm-hmm.
either living empowered or disempowered. And I don't know about you, but I want to live inspired. And it's
100%.
inspired that creates, when we're inspired, we're connected to love, and it's love that creates abundance.
Yeah.
And then we can have that fulfilling life that we all want.
Well, it just feels better. Like when I look at even times now where I get in like a negative mindset or I'm mad at somebody for something stupid about how they made me feel or whatever. Like I had a ton of anger. I had a lot of anger in my body that I wasn't aware of, and just always looking to be mad about something, right? And so now I notice when I get in that place, I notice such a huge difference in how it feels to just be like, there's no point in being that way. It just feels so different. So you said something about the ego and how it's here to protect us, and yes, that it is an earthly thing. That's why I love what you're talking about. What I work with like human design is the feeling always comes first. The inspiration, the intuition always comes before the logic. And we've been trained out of listening to that. We've been trained that the brain, which is there to protect us, right? It's there to say, hey, we've experienced something similar, be careful, right? So it's there to warn us and protect us. But your immediate feeling is always the correct feeling if you're in alignment, right? So
Mhm.
you are an emotional generator. I'm a sacral manifesting generator, but we both have that immediate knowledge. Like it is an immediate knowledge. You have a lot of intuition in your chart, because your chart is very open and you have a lot of feeling of everybody else's stuff, which makes you very aware of it more than some of us,
Well,
right?
we have to be careful not to take everybody else's stuff on.
Right.
That just compounds everything too, which I was doing. I was going to church, and and soaking, not enough, and then I'm soaking in everybody else, and I'm leaving church just a super hot mess.
Yeah, and you just don't realize it. Like even yesterday, I had a situation yesterday. I went to the hot springs with a couple of other friends who are also into energy work and that. And we were in separate cars, and I was like, "Oh, well, where's so and so? Because we got to go over here." And the girl that was in my car was like, "Well, I just texted her and told her where we'd be." But I was like, literally, like, "Well, we got to stop and wait." She's like, "She's a big girl. She can take care of herself." And I realized how much that comes out of me still. That I'm like, "Oh, I got to take care of everybody, and I don't want anyone left out, and I don't want anyone mad." Which is all that shadow work that comes from those open energy centers, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
but I was so thankful for my friend that's like, she's totally fine, knock it off, right? It's just like, but we snap back into that sometimes.
Hmm.
And me, it comes from a place of just making sure everything's okay all the time. Like, ooh, I just got to make sure everyone's okay and managing everyone's feelings because I have an open emotion center.
Yeah.
So, what's really interesting, because we're running out of time, that I wanted to touch on with you and your human design, because you had mentioned that you haven't looked a lot into your incarnation cross. When I started doing human design, I learned the basics, which I think everybody needs to learn the basics first. You need to know what your type is, so generator, manifesting generator. You need to know your open center so you understand how you may be reacting to energies that are not yours and how to filter those and block those, which is another thing that you teach in your courses is how to shield yourself, which was really helpful for me. But as I've evolved in teaching this to people, I've realized that so many people are off track because they don't know their purpose. So you need to know how your body talks to you and tells you what's correct for you first and foremost. So your authority is emotional, meaning you may feel that immediate, but you need to give yourself time to make the decision, right? So the programming in the world is tell us now, you want the job, you better tell us now, because if you don't tell us now, you'll probably not get this job. When in reality, maybe you're not meant for that job. And if you say yes immediately, you just threw yourself clear off track, right?
Hmm.
So that's such important information to know because we're just so overly conditioned to do everything the same as everyone else. And we're not here to do that. So I've started teaching people their incarnation cross because it's very much about your purpose. So that's the two gates on each side of your design and your purpose. Yours is the right plane number two. Okay, so basically, what right plane means is that you have to do a lot of individual work before you help community. Mine's all about the collective and community. Does not mean I'm not doing individual work, but my life purpose is about what I'm doing right now, bringing new age forward, showing people what's out there, right? You had to do a lot of you've done many many years of all the things that you've learned to be in this place where you're at now where it's like I totally know what I'm here to do and I can do it very well. But in your cross you have a lot of emotional high and low patterns which you talked about through your lifetime. You
Hmm.
have learning through crisis and friction. So talking about your kids, all that stuff. So
Yeah.
those are the things that you actually came here to learn so you could teach people exactly what you're teaching them. So what's interesting is part of that cross that just gave me goosebumps is maintaining self-love amidst emotional chaos.
Wow.
Isn't that
That's
awesome? I was gonna
so
say
cool.
crazy. So awesome because it's spot on with everything you're doing. Like it almost makes me cry. So compassion for human imperfection is part of that.
Mm.
Helping others navigate emotional experience. So you literally have navigated what you needed to navigate to get where you need to be, which then we bring in your six, which happens after age 50-ish to be fully in your authenticity. And now you're here to show people that. Like your six is here to literally show people, be yourself, do you. That's it, right? So I just think that when I read that, I was like, holy cow, nothing makes me happier. They're always spot on, but that one was like literally one of the most spot on ones I've done. So you know you're in the right space, but I just think it's cool to have that validation.
Oh, so much. And I just want to give a plug if anybody has not had their human design done to make an appointment with you because it's it was life changing for me. You have a so generators, their not self is shows up as frustration. And so whenever I'm getting frustrated, I know my ego's driving. That is my first clue. And for you, the minute you started saying anger, I'm like, I bet she's a manifesting generator. And
Yeah.
and that's, so it tells you your Achilles heel. It's also taught me how my intuition works of
Hmm.
I have made a lot of I'm a spontaneous person and I've made quite a few decisions spontaneously where had I understood my human design and that you need to wait to respond at least a day before making big decisions.
Hmm.
And also there's the flow that we need to learn how to be in. And now understanding that has been monumental in um, just being able to navigate my life easier, as well as understanding a lot of my gates,
Hmm.
understanding, it's very confirming right there that there's a gate that says you are a psychic. It literally said those words. And
Hmm.
um, so I just encourage because one, it will be confirming, it will be eye-opening, it will help you navigate your life. It's just a beautiful tool to have. And I'm excited that that's something that you've learned since we have last chatted.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
So,
Life changing. Thanks for the little plug. Cause yeah, it's
yeah.
been, I don't think I would be doing, I probably wouldn't be doing what I'm doing had I not learned that because so much of it tells me whether I'm on course with all of us tells us that. In
Hmm.
your chart, what's really interesting is your gates. You have a lot of duplicate gates on both side of your conscious and unconscious. So you only had, I counted them because I was like, holy cow, she doesn't have very many gates. You had 18. Most people have more than that. And there's no comparison in that. What it means is yours are very you have them in your both sides of your like prior to so your conscious and unconscious is kind of what you kind of came here with and you're very aware of and then what you're learning throughout life what other people see in you that maybe you're not aware of your gates repeat a lot and that just means that they're very strong which is probably a lot of where the psychic and the intuition comes in because your open spleen actually makes you very open to all into all people's stuff right so yeah, I think it was for me it was life changing. I think everyone should know their kids is human design. I did one a
Mhm.
couple weeks ago with a lady that homeschools and she pulls kids human design and with their parents and there's just so many cool tools with it. But back to what you do, tell us what so we'll put in the show notes about the free course, but if you're feeling drawn to work with Jeanette because if because you'll feel that if you're sitting here listening to this and you're like this is the person I've been looking for please listen to that just back to the gut feeling follow that so tell us what it looks like to work with you because I know it's been many years since I've had a session with you so tell us a little bit what that looks like because I know for some people they just need a little bit of clarity before they reach out.
So when I meet with someone, I will, ask them if there's anything that they want clarity on. But I also immediately start tuning into their spirit because, like I said, their spirit knows exactly what they need and exactly why they're here. And so it's not like therapy where you just go in and have to bare your soul and know that I can only see, like I'm not going to see your whole entire life. I'm only going to see the little part that you're there to work on. And your spirit will just take me piece by piece by piece through finding what your blocks are, what's keeping you stuck in the moment, what's creating any heartache or chaos in your life. And the beautiful thing is I don't have your answers, but your spirit does. And it's your spirit and your heavenly team that actually lead the session and lead you to the answers that you need to know so that you can move forward in your life. And so it's just a beautiful process that um, is very spirit led.
Yeah, I love that. And I know that because that's exactly, I had no idea what I was getting into when I came to you. I was like, whatever, I'm desperate. Just please help me, right? And so I didn't know what you were doing with your muscle testing and stuff, but whatever you did, it was magical and it worked. So, and I really, it's been fun to see you just, I know that when we met, I had a networking company. And it's just been fun just to watch your countenance change and you grow and you become even more beautiful. Like you have literally, well, your symbol for your business is a butterfly. Don't you have butterfly in your transformation? Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is totally you. I'm like, when I saw you when you first got on, I'm like, she just gets more pretty every time that I see her. So
Oh,
you are really amazing. And I just appreciate you so much. We will put Jeanette's information in the show notes. So transformationenergywork.com is where you can find her online. And if you want to work with Jeanette, please reach out to her. You do virtual, I'm assuming, because you're
yeah,
not,
most everything I do is over Zoom.
yeah, because you said you're doing other countries and everything. So she is in Texas. If you happen to be listening and you're in Texas and you can go, do you do in person still?
I will, but I
Okay.
kind of live in a little, I'm not close to it's most
Uh,
of it will be over Zoom.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I don't want to false advertise for you. Okay. So, do you have anything lastly you want to say? Anything that you're feeling like just needs to be said before we go?
Well, just if going to transformationenergywork.com, if you're just interested in the muscle testing course, like I say, it's just a little over an hour to go through. When you click up the front page, you'll see a button that says free muscle testing course. And so that's an easy way to get that and kind of get to know me. And there's also a schedule button there if you want to schedule, but just kind of a way to tiptoe into my world. It'll put you on my email list and you can kind of get to know me. And some people just that muscle testing course is all they needed. So whatever it is that I'm here to make a difference, and if I'm here to make a difference in your life, however it is, I'm happy to to play whatever role that is and serve that person.
I love that. And I love that this is what I love when I read your emails is that you're still you just incorporate a lot of your connection to God with that and what he wants for us and you're very willing to share that without any bias if that makes sense. I just like I really people really need to understand that their higher power is there and they're on and he's on your team. He, she, whatever you want to believe it is, it's there to guide you and to help you. We didn't get sent here to just be like, oh, good luck, see you later. Hope it all works out right. So I love that you do that. And thank you so much for being here. We'll have to do this again sometime soon because I'd love to delve into some more things. And if you are watching, please go follow Jeanette. Do you have a Facebook page you do have a Facebook page, don't you?
I do. I don't really keep up with my transformation page a lot,
Okay.
but mostly just Jeanette Van Leer on Instagram or Facebook.
Okay. I love that. I'm ready to be done with social media. So I think that it's great to not have a huge plug into that. Okay, so thanks for being here. Please go back and watch future episodes. If you love this, comment and like and share it with anyone that you think might benefit from what Jeanette does. And thanks again, Jeanette, for being here. I appreciate it. It's been fun to catch up, and we
All
will
right.
chat
Thank
soon.
you. Thank you. It's been an honor to be here with you.
Oh, you're the best. Okay, bye bye.